What up, what up, what up? Hello, Weeblets, light novel readers, and every phase in between. I'm Zack.
And I'm Shawn.
And this is Lowkey Weeb. It's time for us to show off our manga collection, hang up some waifu wall scrolls, and we're going to let our shame fly today. Today we are going to be talking about whether or not Demon Slayer is mid. Right now I'm just going to tell you it's not. And we're going to work on, explaining why we think that throughout the rest of this episode. So let's look at the deets.
So Demon Slayer is the story of a boy named Tanjiro and his sister Nezuko, who has been turned into a demon. But spoiler alert, she's a good demon. And it follows his struggles to become a demon slayer so he can shockingly slay demons.
Gasp.
And turn his sister back into a human.
So right now we're going to be going over season 1. We're going to break it into seasons, and today we're just doing season 1, so spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen it, pick it up. It's a good watch. It's really enjoyable, and we will have subsequent episodes going over 2 and 3, and as they release more, we're just going to keep chiming in for you. The series literally starts out with a happy, happy family. I mean, it couldn't be better. Tanjiro's great. His siblings love him. His mom loves him. Everybody loves each other, and he is a hardworking guy and very kind-hearted.
Don't forget that he's only hardworking because his dad's dead.
Oh, yeah, his dad's dead. But the family's great, and his dad's not a deadbeat. He's just dead, so...
About as idyllic as you can get for an anime father.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. So he ends up going to town to sell charcoal?
Charcoal.
Which I didn't know was a thing, but all right, cool, yeah, like starter, I guess?
Yeah, right.
On his way back, it's nighttime, somebody stops him, and they're just like, hey, bro, don't go. Demons are out there, and... apparently nobody knows that demons are out there.
Yeah, Tanjiro definitely doesn't believe it.
He's just like, yeah, but all right, I'll sleep. He sleeps there, comes home to a dead family. Everybody brutally murdered.
Blood-spattered crime scene.
But he finds that Nezuko is still warm, which honestly, I thought that was kind of a good touch in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I wouldn't be thinking that. I'd be like checking if they're breathing or anything like that. But he's just like, oh, she's still warm. I'm like, oh, that's pretty thoughtful.
Yeah, he's clearly smarter than both of us.
Oh, absolutely. He's very crafty. So he's hauling her away, trying to get her to a doctor, because the only thing he cares about at this point is saving the only family he has left. And then she turns.
Yes.
Starts attacking him and everything. He's just like, nah, dog, nah, please don't.
Yeah, she straight up sprouts claws and fangs and just starts swiping at him.
And she just swells up. She just like, screw the gym. The girl just gets swole and stronger. And this is when we're first introduced to a demon slayer. Earlier, the concept had been touched on, but Tomioka comes... looking fly as hell, first of all.
And the multi-pattern cloak.
Which is kind of a theme, And he saves Kampachiro.
Tanjiro.
So he swipes at... well, he saves Tanjiro. Tanjiro kind of saves himself, because he tries cutting off Nezuko's head, and Tanjiro throws her off just in time.
At which point, Tomioka is like, why are you trying to save a demon, bro?
And the theme of the early episodes, I really love, because it's just like everybody's dunking on Tanjiro. He's like, you think you could save your sister? Man, you can't even stand. You're begging. How are you going to save shit when you're on your knees? And it's just like, he's just tearing them apart. But,
I mean, everyone does love an underdog story.
And that's this whole story. I mean, like... It's one of the really lovable things about it is, like, Tanjiro has a PhD in getting his ass whipped.
Oh, yeah. Man, that dude is resilient, just keeps coming back for more because he might be smarter than us, but he's not so smart that he will run away from a beating.
But, so, Tomioka is just kind of ripping him apart, holds up Nezuko because... I guess he's considering, what Tanjiro is thinking.
Tanjiro.
And he, so he's like threatening to kill her. And he's like, if you're going to do something, do something. And this is kind of when you first see how clever this son of a bitch is. So he runs at Tomioka and passes behind a tree, throws a rock to distract him, and then chucks the hatchet.
Yeah, but we don't see him throw the hatchet initially.
Mm-hmm. And so he just ends up running at Tomioka like he's going to swing at him with the hatchet just for Tomioka to knock him out cold. And
Then we cut to the hatchet flying down at Tomioka because he's like, where's the hatchet? He had a hatchet. Then he looks up and see it coming straight for his dome.
Yeah, no, he's like, this kid could do it. And at which point, his sister Nezuko protects him. So and then Tomioka knocks her out cold. And so when Tanjiro wakes up, Nezuko has little bamboo.
Yeah, it's a bamboo muzzle.
I don't know. I love the phrase bamboo muzzle. Something about it just feels right to me. and so the plot thickens, and Tomioka says, "Hey, go see this person, and see if you can do what you say you're gonna do." So he sends him on his way, and they just start traveling together. And he also said it's overcast and keep her out of the sun.
Which leads to Tanjiro building himself a basket out of reeds, is it? Maybe reeds?
Yeah. Clever son of a bitch. He's just clever all the time.
Because he's decided he's going to carry his sister like a backpack.
The entire series.
He
needs to stay close to her, and so it's just like Nezuko backpack. She can also, since he realized since she can grow, asked her if she could shrink, and...
Yeah, she goes headfirst into the basket, and then she's just laying there, and then all of a sudden she starts shrinking, and then sits upright like a little child in a basket.
So, on their way to meet the man, Urokodaki?
Urokodaki?
Urokodaki, jeez.
Urokodai?
So, my words are not good, and I apologize. I never even remember names most of the time.
He is barely literate, people.
I have no argument there. Just straight up. So on their way, he smells blood. Something worth noting, Tanjiro has a killer sense of smell. And so, bad things always come with the scent of blood.
Absolutely. And he follows the scent of blood to find...
a bitch-ass demon. And so this is when you're, first introduced to a demon, head on, and just the concept of them. And this is when you first see that Nezuko... She kind of tough.
Oh yeah, she squares up. She just, as this bitch ass demon has Tanjiro pinned down, she just comes up and soccer kicks his head clean off his shoulders.
Which is, that's one of my favorite things about Nezuko is it's just everybody's doing all these fancy things. She's just I'm gonna kick the shit out of you. She's just a brawler, and I love that.
Yeah, she has claws. She doesn't use them. She just boots his head off.
And I think that's a theme. I think she knocks a couple people's heads off.
I think so.
I guess demons. She doesn't hurt people because she's a good demon.
Yes, she is a good demon. She is a good girl.
But so with this demon, he gets his head knocked off, and this is when you get the shocking thing that, they just don't die. His head just sprouts hands. And so he's just pins the head down, and the body chases Nezuko, and it gets thrown off a cliff, and its non-existent neck breaks. So Tanjiro's just trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, because he's for some reason still seeing this demon as a living being, and he's having a hard time reconciling the fact that this is just a bloodthirsty demon who wants to maim and kill. So Urokodaki shows up in his Tengu mask saying, hey, you don't have what it takes. You're too indecisive, and you'll just never be able to do what you need to do to turn your sister back into a human.
And yeah, it's just a continuation of just dunking on Tanjiro, and it's just it's nice, and I like his Tengu mask. And
yeah, so, it's creepy enough to be intimidating.
And so he tells Tanjiro to kill the demon, and he just can't. Sunlight comes up, and so Urokodaki is the guy he's going to see. So they go down, and he's like, "Yo, I'll train you." He says that Tomioka sent him a letter. He knows what's going on, and he said that he'll keep Nezuko safe. After getting kind of fucked up in that fight, Nezuko also just goes to sleep.
For 2 years.
2 years, yeah. And that is how long the Tanjiro trains. So the training's intense.
Yeah, it starts off with Urokodaki taking Tanjiro up a mountain, being like, hey, get back down. You have a time limit.
And the air's really thin, so Tanjiro's like, yeah, this won't be too hard. And then the traps come.
The traps come so fast.
He just immediately gets hit by a whole ass log. It's just a tree. Just hits him, so it's just that's the whole trip down the mountain. He's just getting fucked up. His sense of smell helps him. because he's like, oh, I can smell a human on these traps.
Yeah, but they don't help him that much. He still winds up getting messed up pretty good.
Yeah, no, he gets wrecked. He finally gets there. He's like, thank goodness I made it. And Urokodaki's just like, okay, your training begins. It's just like, oh, God. And so the training arc runs for 2 years. It doesn't feel like 2 years.
It certainly doesn't take 2 years to watch if you're worried about that.
And so after all of the training, Santoro finally...
Tanjiro.
He gets to the point that he can't learn anymore, and Urokodaki's like, here's a big rock. You're done when you can cut it in half, and then you'll go to final selection, which lets you become a demon slayer.
Yeah, but how hard could cutting a rock be? He's been training with a sword for 2 years.
Yeah, the rock is the size of a small house. A shed. It's a shed-sized rock, I would say.
It's about the size of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
It is actually just Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Anyways. Sorry for that detour. He's hacking away at this boulder day after day.
Nothing happening.
Week after week. Month after month.
And then a random bro shows up. He can't sense him at all. And named Sabito. He's wearing a fox mask.
Yep.
And he helps train him, and so does a girl who he talks to after the fact named Makimo. You've got, just a training little montage. I don't even know if it's a montage.
They duel a couple times. Sabito dunks on him, saying, "You suck. You'll never be able to do this the way you're swinging that sword."
Again, I just love it, because Tanjiro is like the sweetest kid, and it's just everybody's it's just a dunk fest. It's great. And so at the end of it, Tanjiro finally beats Sabito, and It
turns out that he didn't really beat. I mean, he beat Sabito, but what he really beat was the rock.
Yeah, he cut Sabito's mask, but then he's like, oh shit, the rock's cut. And he's like, I'm sure I cut the mask, and just everybody's gone all of a sudden. And, they make it kind of clear from the beginning that these guys are ghosts.
Spooky.
But they're really charming characters, because when he cuts Sabito's mask, it's just like his face is so kind, and, they talk about...
He's got a smile on his face.
He's just he's happy that Tanjiro did it, and I don't know, it's got good feels. This show likes to hit you with feels. Sometimes it tries a little too hard, to just be like, well, you need to be sad. But,
yeah.
A lot of times, it's just like you're enjoying a shonen fight and then just gut punch.
Yeah.
And so, Urokodaki shows up and he's just like, all right, well, you can go to final selection. And then,
he's like, here's this mask. Come back alive.
And so he gives all of his students fox masks. And so one thing that Tanjiro learned when he beat Sabito is that, he sees... What does he call it?
He calls it the opening thread.
The opening thread. So with his nose, he can now see, he'll see a thread straight to where he is going to beat somebody, and it's like the thread pulls him, and that's just a recurring thing in the series. And
I think it makes the battle easier to follow.
Yeah, and again, it's a nice touch because when he feels like he can't win, he sees an opening, he's just like, oh, there it is. And once they get to final selection, there's a whole bunch of people there. They go up a mountain. We learned that wisteria is a plant.
It's toxic to demons. It kills them, or will kill them with enough exposure, and that's what's used to keep the demons at bay on this mountain.
Yep, it grows all year on this mountain, so they just catch demons, throw them there, and then they just... they essentially...
They make a demon zoo.
Yeah. Final selection is they chuck them in a hole, and they're like, deal with it.
Yeah, you have to survive for a week. Good luck.
And so there's mostly normal demons. Gengo is trying to figure out if he's trying to talk to demons, and he's just not getting anything from them.
He's trying to find information on how to turn Nezuko back into a human, and it is not going well.
And then we see the giant mass of gross green
flesh.
He's got lots of hands, and it turns out that he is the one. And this is when Tanjiro realizes that his new buds were ghosts, because he talks about that fox mask. Urokodaki caught this demon, and the fox mask is how he picks out his students.
And to get revenge, he's decided to almost exclusively eat Urokodaki's students.
He's got 12 of them. And something to note is demons get stronger the more humans they eat, and he's eaten like 90 or something, and all of Urokodaki's students. So he's just like this big, bad, badass. Somebody tries cutting his neck, and, he just can't cut his skin at all.
No.
But our boy Tanjiro.
Tanjiro?
Tanjiro.
Tanjiro can?
I think he can.
Does he see an opening thread?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
And this is when we first see he does his breathing concentration and uses one of his
Water forms.
His water forms, yes. And he uses that to sever the demon's head. The demon dies and kind of has a flashback to when it first started.
Yeah.
And first being a demon and stuff. And so this becomes a running theme that, after the fact, Tanjiro can smell their humanity and smell their emotions.
Yeah, he doesn't actually see the flashback, but he knows they're suffering.
He knows what they're feeling,
Yeah.
and he shows kindness to the demon because once they lose their head, they kind of remember their humanity. And again, Tanjiro is just so kind-hearted.
He's the best boy.
He is the best boy. He's so sweet. I love Tanjiro. He's so sweet, but he's so tough. How are you going to be sweet and tough? And
Gotta be hard-headed.
His dome is the hardest thing in this series. And the show goes kind of hard. So, after that happens, they just go to natural. He ends up natural selection.
Darwinism comes into play.
Darwin, he did live. So only 5 people made it out. One of them's a douche and threatens to beat up one of the
creepy little girls.
Yeah, there's creepy little girls that kind of head the thing. And but otherwise you meet a coward who just keeps talking about he's going to die, a silent butterfly girl, and then that guy who's kind of a douche. We don't see him again for a while.
No, we don't.
Not this season. And then you find out there's one more, but he's already gone. And so they get to pick a rock. Tanjiro smells rocks.
It's this whole extravagant thing.
Yeah, he's just sniffing rocks, and that's how they make their sword. Which the swords are cutting off a demon's head with one of these specific swords.
Yeah, they are ore from the mountain closest to the sun. So for some reason that makes it absorbs the sun's power.
Hell yeah, brother!
Hell yeah!
That's all I need for an explanation. And so once he finishes it, as soon as he gets back, Nezuko's awake. Yay!
Convenient.
And apparently, instead of eating people to heal herself, she just naps.
Yeah, which is super cool. I wish that actually worked for me.
I wish I could sleep for 2 years. Fuck all this.
I wish I could feel refreshed after a nap.
And he immediately, when they beat Final Selection, they all go to Crow, and his Crow just flies by, just screaming at him, "Tanjiro, go to a direction." I don't remember. He always, "Tanjiro, go this way. Tanjiro, go this way." And so there are young girls dying in a town every night, and so he goes to find this demon, and we get a picture of what happens. There's a boy walking with a girl, and they walk past a post, and she just disappears.
Yeah, he takes his eye off her, and he turns around, and she's gone.
And it was his fiance, and her dad just beats the fuck out of him.
Which is understandable.
I mean, yeah, he's how did you lose her? It's I don't fucking know.
How do you lose a whole ass human?
He lost a whole ass human. How you do that? But somehow he still had her ribbon. It's sketchy at best.
Yeah, but Tanjiro, he sees this beaten up dude and he's like, I'm going to follow him. He seems like he knows what's up.
I'm asking questions, and I believe him because, he knows what's up about demons, and apparently nobody knows about demons.
Yeah, despite, there being a whole Demon Slayer core and a test and all that.
That's one of the things I just don't get. It's just how does nobody know about demons? They are just constantly just slaughtering people. It's just they just show up. It was definitely a bear. Hell of a bear, bro. So it turns out that demon kind of has its own swamp, and
yeah, he can just dive into the ground into his own little.
And his personality is 3 actual different people, and
yes.
He just chatters his teeth, and he just likes eating young girls. He's like that guy. He's like, I need to eat young virgins because then they ripen and they get gross when they ripen.
Yeah, which is gross. I mean, it's already gross that he's eating people, but
I mean. Thanks. I didn't really realize. I just needed you for that moral compass.
That's why I exist to be. I exist to be a moral compass for you.
So this is his first demon since he's been trained. it's a fun fight, because there's 3 demons. You don't realize that at first. The demon can pop out of walls because it's just like the swamp appears first, and he can just pop out of anywhere. And so Tanjiro is like trying to protect the
guy he's with.
The fiance, the rest in peace, his wife or fiance, I guess. And so he's trying to protect him, and he just can't get a clear hit of the demon because it's just like, I'm in the ground, I'm out of the ground, I'm in the ground, I'm out of the ground, I'm in a wall, I'm out of the wall. And it just when things are getting rough, like Nezuko shows
Pops
up.
out of her backpack.
Does she kick his head off, or she just fucks him up?
I think she just beats him. Like physically beats him, not like beats the demon for Tanjiro.
Yeah. And so Tanjiro's like, hey, protect him. I'm hop down in this here swamp.
I'm gonna go visit Shrek.
And I feel like we're all just like,
that seems like a poor choice.
I don't think that's a good idea. And so one demon is stuck out there, and Nezuko's just dealing with him. Tanjiro goes down. He does another one of his water forms and just cuts them all to pieces, pops out, and just as the demon's about to fuck up Nezuko, he cuts her head off. And it cuts its head off, not her. He does not hurt Nezuko. I'm sorry that I don't talk good.
Yeah, no.
And
no Nezuko harming will happen in this episode.
Right. This is our first taste of like combat and everything. And it's fun. It's thought out. Tanjiro is constantly trying to be one step ahead. It's
a novel take on the demon because the demons we've seen so far have just been run of the mill. Just, hey, I'm going to stand in front of you and throw hands.
Yeah, because also, once they eat so many, sometimes they get special powers, like hiding in a swamp.
Yeah, they're called blood demon arts, if we refer to them later.
And then so he corners the one last demon left and asks them about Muzan, because Muzan is the lead demon. He's the only demon who can turn other people into demons.
Yep, he is king shit of fuck mountain.
He is. And so it turns out he's the one that killed Tanjiro's family. And so in order to turn Nezuko back, he needs to find out about him. The demon is terrified. He knows that Tanjiro is going to kill him, the chance of being tortured, but he refuses to say a word.
He wants to tell him the name, but he physically cannot bring himself to tell him the name of Muzan.
So off goes the head. And then we get Do we get another crow announcement? Or does he just go to a town? I think he just wanders off to town.
I think he goes to the city to follow, on the off chance that there's better leads.
Okay, yeah. And he immediately smells Muzan because, his nose is so darn good. He gets up to him, and Muzan's with the human family. He is such a coward. He just hides amongst them.
He's holding a little girl, like a 3 or 4 year old girl.
And just acting like a normal guy. Tanjiro calls him out, and then he just scratches a bro. That's all it takes. He scratches a bro. Bro starts freaking out, turns into a demon. Tanjiro's like trying to protect people, and then just screaming at Muzan. That's a really common theme that I love, is just pissed off Tanjiro screaming threats at people.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I will kill you. It's like, bro,
meanwhile,
you're getting the shit beat out of you.
Meanwhile, Muzan's off in this and is like, bye, bitch.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm sorry, family. I don't know what that's about. And then I assume that after the fact, he just abandons the family. Because they don't mention it again.
They don't really revisit that.
And so the earrings that Tanjiro wears are apparently that they piss Muzan off. And he's just like immediately summoned some demons after fucking up some drunk dudes.
Some drunk dudes accost him.
And that's just, that's kind of a funny scene because, like, Muzan was just like, I'm busy. Like, he was going to let him live. And this dude's like, nah. And Muzan just fucking kicks him, knocks him against the wall, kicks another guy in the sky. It's just a murder fest.
So the moral of the story is don't start fight with drunk people. Or drunk people shouldn't start fights with people.
Yeah.
There we go.
You got there. I knew you'd get there.
I'm sometimes good at words.
So at which point... we end up meeting 2 new demons that kind of got Tanjiro out of the situation. It's first Tamio. She uses her blood demon art to kind of confuse people with smells.
She just gives off some sort of scent that wipes people's memories, apparently.
And so she is also a renegade demon, and she is trying to cure demonology, demonification.
Demonosis?
Demonosis.
Demonosis. I like it.
And so she is trying to cure him, and she says that she needs blood from demons that are the closest to Muzan. And we learn about the 12 Kizuki. You have upper moons, lower moons. They're the 12 strongest demons that aren't Muzan.
Right, and they're signified by the numbers engraved on their eyes, which is hard.
It does go hard, doesn't it? Especially the one you meet later who's like an X one. He got kicked out, so it's just like he's got the number on his eyes, but it's also just scratched
off.
out. So with Tamio, you've got this boy Yushiro, and he's just like a fucking turd burglar. He's just like so in love with her because she learned a way to turn people
into demons.
So I guess it's not just Muzan. She figured out a way to do it, but like she just does it to save people. Like Yushiro was dying.
There's literally a scene where she's like, "Hey, I can save you,
but only if you want.
But you're going to be a demon for the rest of your life."
And then he's just in love with her, and he's just an annoying little shit. You know,
Yeah.
It's not charming.
No, it isn't. He calls Nezuko ugly.
And Tanjiro wants to throw hands.
Yes, immediately.
So the people Muzan sends after them are a Tamari girl and arrows.
Arrows, yes. Direction boy.
Direction boy. He's just got arrows on his hands, and he on his hands or in his eyes? No.
He's got
eyes on his hands, arrows in his eyes.
Yes. Yes.
So they just show up and start fucking shit up. Like she's throwing Tamari balls into the house, and you learn that Yushiro's demon art, like kind of in the middle of this, after he gets his head taken off, and Tanjiro's still not used to things yet. And he's like, "Oh no, he's dead." Head grows back and stuff.
That's a pretty nifty skill to have.
I mean, yeah,
I mean, I feel like it's traumatizing, but nifty.
Trauma, but nifty. I'm down with that. So, I mean, Tanjiro ends up trying to deal with it, right?
Yeah, he's trying to focus on Tamari Girl initially, and he's just getting his ass beat.
And then Nezuko also shows up. She tries kicking a Tamari ball, just like takes her whole fucking leg off, which is tough.
Because apparently Tamari balls are like bowling balls. I don't know.
This lady, she summons them, so they're demon Tamari balls.
Oh, okay, so they're evil. Got it.
Evil Tamari. So Tamio gives Nezuko some medicine to help her heal, and apparently every time she heals, she gets stronger. And so now they're just like, okay, you're going to let Nezuko deal with Tamari Girl because Yushiro has eyes, special eyes.
Yeah,
and he lets Tanjiro see there's actual physical arrows moving shit around. So they're like, go deal with the arrow, bro. And
go deal with Evil Aang.
Evil Aang. And let Nezuko and us like deal with Tamari Girl. And so Tanjiro goes and he just gets right fucked up. Now this demon is a lot of fun. I mean, it's a really cool concept because he just makes arrows and those arrows send you that way. So he's just throwing Tanjiro in the air, and Tanjiro is using like his water arts to
counteract it.
Yeah, to try to break the fall a little bit,
but
still breaks himself because they're big falls, and he ends up killing him. But like some cool things that happen in the fight is like at one point he puts an arrow that like swirls around his arm, and he's like, "I'm about to take your arm." Tanjiro's like, "Fuck no!" He runs up a tree, does some flips in the opposite direction or in the same direction as the arrow to kind of get rid of it.
To reduce the force, I guess.
No, to just produce the force.
Right.
And then once he kills the demon, this one doesn't get a kind flashback. He's just like, "I'm going to kill you before I die." He sends Tanjiro 100 different ways. And Tanjiro's so fucked up that he's just actually like crawling. And I like his stones because he's like physically crawling. He's like, "I got to save everybody." It's like, bro, you need to save your strength.
You have to save yourself before you can save anybody else.
Right? So he gets there and... Tamio uses her blood art to start talking to Tamari Girl and gets her to say Muzan's name. So the reason the other demon wouldn't talk about him is there's a curse because Muzan's a fucking coward.
That Muzan puts in every demon he makes.
So if they say Muzan's name, I guess just arms come out and start and squish your head. That's
they physically come out of Tamari Girl and start
her chest, her mouth, and it just fucking crushes her shit.
Yeah,
and so we learn a little more about Muzan, and that's fun and cool and all.
Then we get the tragic backstory of Tamari Girl. She just wanted someone to play with.
Oh yeah, that one was sad.
Yeah,
especially when you compare it to the other guy who was just a dick.
Yeah,
it's just
right.
Like this poor kid. And so after we learn about that,
there is no rest for the weary.
no, because Tanjiro he just has to keep moving. The crow comes. Tanjiro, head south. Tanjiro, head south. I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, that's a solid impression, actually.
So on his way there, he meets Zenitsu.
Who
I really want to love Zenitsu, but he is just a caricature, and
yeah, he feels like a caricature of a caricature at this point.
yeah, he does. Because when he shows up, he's just begging a girl not to leave him because he's gonna die and she needs to marry him. I think she's got a fiance, or
Yeah, she does.
She's engaged or something.
She says she has a fiance.
And like Tanjiro just shows up. He's like, "Bro, you need to fucking stop." He just stops him and didn't even realize that he was one of the people who survived final selection.
He just does not remember him, despite this guy being
Like,
a loudmouth blonde.
Just a punk bitch.
That too.
So he finally drags Zenitsu away, but like that's like half of his character is Zenitsu's just begging people for stuff, screaming, scared. Like, it's okay that you're scared, bro, but like
it's understandable that you're scared.
Every time this character sees growth, which is interesting and fun, he just immediately reverts to just being a little shit, and I hate it. Because I really want to like him when he's being cool, but he's just so insufferable.
The dirt worst in this show.
And so he starts tagging along with Tanjiro, and they get to a spooky house. And there's some kids there, and they're like, my brother got kidnapped by a big scary thing.
Well, that sounds like that kid's problem. He just walks off.
Zenitsu would.
Yeah,
so
he tries.
The kids end up following them in. They end up getting split up. They hear a drum, and
the rooms shift, and
they just get teleported. The rooms just change.
Yes, that's what it is.
And Zenitsu also has a really good sense of hearing, kind of like Tanjiro's
sense of smell. Yeah.
You know, they kind of touch base on it a little bit, but I feel like they could have done more with it.
They could have expanded on it.
It sounds fun.
Because honestly, I forgot about it until I rewatched the first season.
Mm-hmm. And so in this house, we also are introduced to Inosuke. He is the 5th survivor of final selection, and he's just a man
with a boar's head.
Just a boar's head. And
like, he's basically George of the Jungle.
I mean, really, that's all he is. But it's fun. It's fun. He's a blast of a character, and this is part of the reason I hate Zenitsu is because the humor that comes with Inosuke is fun and genuine.
Yeah.
And you don't need to make a character out of him.
It doesn't feel forced.
It doesn't. And Zenitsu does, and it's just annoying. And so, like, you could just take that whole characteristic out of Zenitsu, and Inosuke would just carry the comedy.
Yeah, like if you just made Zenitsu a scaredy cat, just like a run-of-the-mill scaredy cat, who's like, hey, I'm afraid, understandably, because I'm facing demons and I'm a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, and then brave up a little, you know? Yeah. And it's just like as he does more, get a little braver, but he don't. He just don't. And so while they're separated, he gets attacked by a demon, and this is why you find out he survived natural... Why do I keep saying natural selection? Because it was.
Because it was natural selection.
This was Darwinism. And so he's with one of the kids, like a young kid named Soichi, and the demon shows up. Zenitsu passes out, and when he's unconscious...
He becomes competent.
He is a hella demon slayer. So you see his electric stance, art...
thunder breathing.
Thank you. Thunder breathing.
First form, thunderclap and flash.
I'm gonna thunderclap them cheeks, bro.
I mean, that's his primary reason for living.
I guess so. That's probably why he has the thunderclap, and that's the only one he knows. Sorry, spoilers. Spoilers in this spoiler-filled episode. So, you know, and then as soon as he wakes up, he's like, Soichi, you saved me. I had no idea you were so powerful. It is like the only... like thing that Zenitsu does, like it's the only like joke with him that I honestly found funny.
Right, because like he doesn't know what he did.
So wandering these halls are some other demons, one of which just has drums all over his body.
He's the primary bad guy in this house,
and he is the one with the scratched eye. He used to be one of the 12, but he was a lower moon, but he couldn't eat enough people. He just couldn't eat enough people, and he kind of just fell off. He just wasn't 12 Kizuki style, and so he's just wandering around being depressed and shit, just
beating on his drums,
trying to eat good blood. One of the kids that's lost in there, he's got good blood.
Yeah, so. They call him a Morechi.
A Morechi, and Morechi, it's like having 50 or 100 humans because it's tasty blood.
Yeah.
And so, like, he's kind of like Tanjiro's trying to get in his way, and he doesn't give a shit. He's just like, Morechi blood.
Nope. Morechi blood, gonna beat my drum.
Very carelessly. Like, he just doesn't care about Tanjiro. Every time he beats his drum, the room rotates. He's got a handful of drums. One moves left, one moves right, one moves.
It's up and down.
Up and down.
Yeah.
And
or rotates it up and down.
Yeah, it rotates the room around. So, and Tanjiro just can't get footing. And also, he has a middle one that slashes. It's like 3 claw marks.
It's 3 claw marks at the beginning.
And then eventually 5.
Yeah.
So that fight, he ends up fighting him, and we get a little bit of Inosuke in there, cutting Fat Demon's head off. And he's got saw blades. I mean, they're just like serrated.
Yeah, he basically took the katana or sword that all the demon slayers are given and just purposely taken out chunks of them to make a saw blade.
Yeah, I mean, literally, that's what he does. So the fight with what are we going to call the drum demon? Bongo Boy.
Bongo Boy, yes.
Bongo Boy. The fight with Bongo Boy is like, it's a lot of fun because, Kampachiro Kamboko, he's like
Tanjiro.
trying to get his footing and everything, and
it's just not happening.
It's
not his day.
It's not, and like he's still real hurt. I mean, he's got broken ribs. He's probably got a broken arm somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, this is one of those ones where they're like, "Hey, feel sad for this demon." And I was just like, "No." This guy just couldn't do his job, and he's upset. Like,
yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The way he was talked to was unacceptable, but it's
absolutely.
Just like,
that's definitely a workplace violation. He needed to report that to HR.
He did, and I understand the struggles of working. Period.
Yes,
that's the end of my statement.
Yes. No.
But it's just like versus some of the other sob stories. It's just like, all right, bro, you're just not good at some things. All right.
Maybe find a new job.
Yeah. Right. And. So, I mean, really, that was that with this arc. It was a fun fight. It was a boring sob story. And then when they get out...
Inosuke is just stomping a mud hole in Zenitsu.
This is really great. And so this is what I'm talking about with Zenitsu. Is like, he knows there's a demon, but Tanjiro hasn't told him there's a demon in his backpack. And... Inosuke knows it's there, and he's just literally just stomping
on. I'm pretty sure DMX's X Gon Give It To Him is playing in Inosuke's head the entire time.
So, Zenitsu, this is like his character growth. He's just like, I know there's a demon in here, but like, I heard Tanjiro. Tanjiro is the kindest person I have ever heard. I know whatever's happening.
Yeah, Tanjiro actually says this is more important to me than my own life.
And so he's protecting it. It's just like, wow, he's being brave.
That is a loyal friend.
It is, and it's just, it's a really redeeming moment. And then they immediately just go back to shitting on Zenitsu. Yeah. But it's also funny because it's like Tanjiro walks out of the building, sees this happening, and he's just like, as it's happening, he's just like, I'm gonna let him cook.
Yeah.
He's just like...
Doesn't intervene.
Just watches until it's just like until Inosuke actually threatens to kill Zenitsu, and that's when he chimes in.
He's like, hey, guys, let's tone it down a bit. Let's take it down a notch.
And so we get to know Inosuke. He just wants to fight shit. He's just kind of fucking batshit. He just wants to fight, and so he starts coming after Tanjiro.
Yeah, he just wants to fight more powerful things.
The fight's kind of fun, and you find out that like he's just like insanely flexible, and he likes flexing anything he can on anyone.
But like, let's not forget, Inosuke also has broken ribs at this point, and then proceeds to do the type of back bend you see contortionists do. Like he bends over backwards, sticks his head between his legs, and starts cackling.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that's also after Tanjiro charges him and headbutts him, and like they do like the Mortal Kombat thing where they show his ribs cracking.
No, he doesn't headbutt him. He punches him in the ribs, and it's X-ray vision.
The rib cracking was such a nice touch. So then he's wounded and just doing all this stretching, and it ends with Tanjiro just headbutting him, which again, Tanjiro's headbutts, they are so wonderful.
He's literally the most hard-headed man in this story.
He's the hardest thing in this story. Tanjiro goes hard, especially his head. And so Inosuke is like, keep standing for a minute because he's tough.
He talks a little bit.
And then just passes out from concussion.
Like his mouth starts foaming. It's like, first time watching this, like, he might die.
Yeah, no, 100%. That head's that hard. So when he wakes up, they're like, bro, you need to stop. And then all of a sudden they're just friends. I mean, he keeps threatening everybody, but he already
Absolutely.
forgot about the demon.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is just
Goldfish memory.
He's fun because he's simple. I like simple folk. So they end up.
It's like looking in the mirror for you.
Right. I need to stop agreeing so quick. No, you're 100% right. So they finally get a chance to rest. They go to Old Lady Wisteria, the Wisteria Mansion, and they get very kindly taken care of. And Inosuke is sketch as fuck.
He's just so confused about it.
So why are they doing this? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? And then, they're taking care of him. A doctor comes. He's like, every single one of you has broken a rib.
Yeah.
This is not good.
They in the sub they specify like how many broken ribs they have, but in the dub they don't, which is unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. Do you remember how many?
I do not, but I just know that Inosuke has the most broken ribs.
Yeah, boy. So they just get some time to heal. You get a little reprieve, and Inosuke just finds kindness. And
Yeah, Inosuke learns what kindness is.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And as the story goes on, he just gets like these white clouds around his head, and it's like they make the boar mask blush.
Yeah.
It's also after Tanjiro headbutts him, you find out that he is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, the most gorgeous man on earth.
Straight up, more gorgeous than most women. I tell you. Like, listen, he's astounding. And so while they're there, we get the Nezuko reveal, and again, Zenitsu's just insufferable. He's like. Threatens Tanjiro, and he's just like I'm gonna kill you. You had a cute girl here this
entire time.
You're so lucky you're traveling with a cute girl. She's my sister.
And a demon.
And a demon. So, that's all good and fun. And then they get their crows, and they all get to go to Mount Nagagumo?
Nagagumo?
We're going to call it Spider Demon Island.
Spider Demon Island, even though it's not an island.
Zenitsu's too scared. He doesn't go. He
Punk
later
bitch.
decides to go because he realizes that Nezuko's there, and he needs to protect her.
And he's a simp.
He's such a simp. It's gross. And then throughout this, like Tanjiro's talking about like he's just being kind to Inosuke, and we get more of that. Inosuke just doesn't understand how to feel about it.
Well, yeah, no, he has no clue. He's been raised by himself on a mountain with animals. He is George of the Jungle.
And so they end up coming to other demon slayers. Those demon slayers are pretty much just being puppeted. It's pretty clear from the get-go, and they're just trying to kill each other. And so like Jojo decides
Tanjiro.
That is a JoJo reference.
He will be the main character of the next JoJo series.
I hope so. Big Rock. Not Stone Ocean, it's just Big Rock.
Big Rock.
So, they figure out that if they cut the threads, it'll stop the people from being controlled. And
how puppets work.
And thanks.
Some puppets. Sorry.
You're only kind of a prick, but
that's how marionettes work.
Thank you. And so, they end up deciding, hey, we gotta. There was another demon slayer that hadn't been controlled, and he's clearly kind of a punk. But he's like, I'll handle these guys. You go fight the demon. And Inosuke uses beast breathing.
Yeah.
And spatial awareness. Like, how lame. But also, like, the superpower ever. Because he's just spatially aware for miles.
Like if he sits down and just puts his palms out and knows where things are. Like, yeah that's
100%. They find some more demon slayers. But as they get closer, the demon threads get better and stronger, and so to save the people, like they can't keep cutting them,
you gotta kill the source.
So Gendo throws them up over some tree branches. He's like, yeah, we saved them, and then the demon just like fucking breaks all their necks. And so he mad, and while running after her, they run into, she summons her big demon, which doesn't have a head, and it's just got claws. No. I mean, they make short work of him.
Yeah, it'd be intimidating if they hadn't, beaten all these other demons first.
To do that, though, Tanjiro throws Inosuke, and Inosuke not wanting to be one-upped, just throws Tanjiro. And
Straight up in the air.
Yep, and he just ends up flying towards the demon. We find out that she's like horribly abused, and she's just like, you could take my life.
Yeah, and Tanjiro senses this through his nose, I'm assuming.
In her actions, he saw that she just...
Well, yeah, definitely actions, but I feel like it's like 90% nose, 10% actions.
Yeah, we'll go with that. And so he uses... Geez, what is it?
It's Blessed Rain After the Drought.
Yeah, so he kills her kindly. Apparently he...
Kills her with kindness.
Yeah, it's a breathing technique, water breathing that...
Humanely?
Feels warm and loving. Yeah. And so, yeah, she was just pretty much tortured and abused and stuff. So
like, yes, I will take death over this.
Yeah, so the spider family's weird. You learn about daddy, and then there's the son. The son sounds like the whole time he's just a snitch, but he's actually one of the 12. He's a lower moon. And you kind of get that vibe, and it's kind of back and forth, because like, is daddy the lower moon? Is somebody, because she warns them that there's a lower moon there.
Yes.
So next, we meet daddy. And
he is a hulking man with a spider head.
And they pretty much, they call him daddy. They don't call him daddy, but he really puts them in their place.
Yeah.
And so he's just fucking them up. Inosuke's like, oh, I ain't strong at all. And then he swings an actual tree at Tanjiro and sends him flying.
Just straight up baseballs him out of the arena.
It's actually really funny. I really enjoyed that. So Inosuke just gets completely fucked up, and just throughout it, he just gets humbled real quick.
Yeah, he gets physically and mentally crushed.
Yeah, and then his throat gets crushed, his head gets crushed after the demon sheds, it molts. And
it molts and gets stronger.
It's real strong and scary. Tanjiro lands by the little snitchy kid, and he's just yelling at his sister and cutting her up. You learn that the sister's kind of abused, but this one kind of likes it. And she doesn't like it. She
doesn't like it, but she's manipulative because she wants to stay alive.
And she wants to stay in the family. Yeah. So it's weird. But this kid, he's just got threads that cut. And
cut, we mean disassemble human beings.
Yes, actually, yeah. You see him kind of do the Resident Evil thing from the first Resident Evil movie where the lasers cut somebody into cubes.
Yes.
He does that to another random demon slayer who's being pompous. So he's all about family. That's his thing. He just wants a loving family, and so he sees Nezuko protect Tanjiro. He's like, I want that. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that.
but not in like a Zenitsu way. Just like, I want her as a sister.
Yep. He's just like, I want my family, and I want selflessness in my family. Give me her. You can go free. And obviously Tanjiro's like,
no, absolutely not.
So it's just like him trying to fight this guy when he tries to block one of... Actually,
he tries to slice one of the threads,
and it just breaks his sword.
Snaps it.
So we fucked.
He's basically left with like a hilt with like 4 inches of blade.
Yeah. And so this broha, he ends up like tying up Nezuko in his threads. She's
like
kind
in the
of bleeding.
treetops.
Yeah, and then Tanjiro's just like, I need to not be scared. So he does a water breathing form. He's cutting through him all of a sudden. He's feeling empowered. He is empowered.
Yeah, he feels good. He's going to win this. He sees the opening thread.
Yep, and like every swing he makes, he gains momentum. And it's a really cool scene. Like, it's super well animated. It feels intense. And it's just like the whole time in his head, he's like, I can't stop moving. I can't change my breathing. I just have to go and not be scared. And then he gets surrounded by red threads. The bitchy little shit is just like, you think those are my strongest threads? Nah, dog.
That was my base level. My power level is going to be over 9,000.
He completely surrounds Tanjiro, kind of like a jungle gym.
Yeah, it looks like a jungle gym.
Tanjiro's like, oh no. And his life flashes before his eyes.
He flashes back to when he was a child watching his father... When he was still alive, obviously.
Dancing.
Yeah.
And so he...
Dancing a ceremonial dance to welcome in the new year.
And so he, like, after remembering that, he all of a sudden starts fire breathing?
Yeah, fire breathing. Like, starts doing...
Flames instead of water.
Yeah, I know, which is a weird choice, considering he was a water breather, but, we'll figure that out later. Anyways, he starts doing that dance his father did.
Yeah, and all of a sudden he's even tougher, and... He goes to cut the demon's neck, And Nezuko, all of a sudden, she has normal thoughts. It's the first time she's spoken. And she uses a blood demon art of flames that don't hurt Tanjiro.
It explodes it makes her blood explode.
Yes.
That's what it is.
And so, yeah, she runs the blood down the threads and makes that explode on him. Tanjiro cuts his head off. Yay!
Battle over, right?
No.
Is the battle over?
No,
the battle's
he-
over.
he
The battle's
gets
got to
up.
be over. He doesn't have his head.
He doesn't have his head, but he gets up and he's like, I cut my own head with my thread. And then we need to take a step back.
We do.
He is so dull that I completely forgot about Zenitsu.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about Zenitsu.
It's actually a fun fight. I hate it.
It gets lost in the shuffle of everything else.
I know, right? And so with Zenitsu, before we get to that peak, he ends up finding the spider brother. He gets bit by something. Turns out he's poisoned. And the spider brother is just a spider's body.
With a boy's head.
And I'm just now realizing that he's the opposite of Daddy.
Hey, you caught up.
I caught up. So this is where you get to know a little bit more about him. You know, he's freaking out. Passes out. He's poisoned. He's got a time limit, and he's going to turn into just a spider body with a baby head.
Yeah, because you lose your hair too.
Yeah, and so he passes out, and you learn that he can only thunderclap, but he's real good at it. If you can only do one thing, do it good. Don't half-ass two things if you can whole-ass one. And so it's just him constantly trying to do it. The spider realizes that's what he's doing. And again, it's a great scene because the thunderclap's very simple, but it's sweet. Like, he just launches through, cuts its head off, shoots on top of a building, and then, like, falls back down.
Yeah, like, that's when he starts to, like, come to, is when after he's killed the demon and he's falling, he just plops on this house.
And his hands are tiny now. He's got baby hands.
He's got baby hands.
I don't know how I feel about the baby hands. They make me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then this is another thing where it's just like, he's like, I should just let myself die. And he remembers his grandpa who trained him. It's not his real grandpa.
But he wants to call him grandpa because he loves him.
And that's one of my favorite scenes in the flashback is like the grandpa is like chasing him up a tree. He's like, I don't want a Gramps. He's like, don't call me Gramps. He's like, I do it because I love you. And then the grandpa like blushes.
And then immediately goes back to beating him.
Yeah, he beat him a lot. But I mean, that's just kind of, I feel like, what Demon Slayer training is just beating the fuck out of each other.
You gotta be tough.
The students.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And so instead of giving up, he decides that he's going to control his breathing to control the poison, which works.
It works. Works well enough.
Yeah.
He still has baby hands, but he doesn't die.
He doesn't die, but baby hands.
Baby hands.
I don't like thinking about baby hands. So at this point, we've got some more talented Demon Slayers that show up.
Yes.
One is Shinobu.
Higher ranking.
Yes. Shinobu drops by. She has like wings of a butterfly.
Yeah, Zenitsu sees her as a butterfly at first because, he's poisoned.
And then she makes a brief remedy to stop it. She starts saving people and shit. And then our boy Tomioka shows up too.
Yeah.
So the show really likes doing Deus Ex Machinas, which is just when something intervenes at the last possible minute. So he easily cuts off Daddy's head and saves Inosuke.
Yep.
And then now we're going to cut back to the lower moon.
The lower moon.
And so he just stands back up. He's like, I cut my own head off so you couldn't do it. And he's just talking about how he's going to kill Tanjiro. And then our boy Tomioka shows up. And he does the 11th breathing style, which we didn't know was a thing. We thought 10 was the most.
10 was the max.
And so
Turns out Tomioka can count to 11.
Tomioka, everything around him turns to water. It's calm. Dude tries cutting him. Nothing happens. And he just easily cuts his head off.
Yeah, he just walks right through him.
So and so we're going to find out that these are the Hashira. They are the best of the best of the best. And this is what it looks like. This is where we see the gap.
Yeah.
It's like you feel like our guys are making
They're
progress.
talented. They're making strides.
They're almost there. And then it's just like, no, this gap is immeasurable.
Yes.
And once Shinobu shows up, and she's like, oh, hey, Nezuko's a demon. I'm a killer.
This is my reason to try.
And so Tomioka's like, nah, dog. Nah. He's like, run, bitch, run.
Yes.
So
Don't care how much it hurts, you got to run.
This is fun just because she's running, and as she's being chased, she just turns tiny.
Yeah. That's we are missing Kanao. Kanao shows up. Kanao is one of the silent girl that passed final selection.
And so she's chasing Nezuko down.
Yeah, because she's wearing the same hair ornament as Shinobu, her same type of hair ornament.
Butterfly girls.
Yeah, so she's very clearly her trainee and is just listening to Shinobu, like, hey, you got to kill this demon, which she was going to do anyways, but, like, trainer tells you.
And then crows come and they say, capture them. Don't kill them. Capture Nezuko and Tanjiro.
But we did miss the fun bit where Tomioka and Shinobu are squaring off.
Oh, God, I love that, too, because she's just like, this is why no one likes you. So, like, they're literally, like, she's, like, threatening to kill him. And, like, but she says, this is why nobody likes you. And that's all he's focused on the whole conversation.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I thought I was liked.
And then she takes off and he's chasing her. And eventually he catches up to her and it cuts to, he's got her in a headlock. And she's like, you know what? He's like, why are you doing this? And he just glazes over. Like, he doesn't know why. He's like, his eyes just go glazed over.
Yeah.
Doesn't even explain why he's doing this.
So everybody, Tanjiro's actually unconscious at this point. Everybody gets carried somewhere. The next cut is to
the Hashira Mansion, or not, maybe not the Hashira Mansion, but definitely the Demon Slayer headquarters.
Yes, and Jangoro, he wakes up.
Tanjiro.
And he's tied up. His arms are tied behind his back. He's like, what's going on? And then we meet the Hashira.
I'm like, you're on trial.
Yeah, and then they pretty much say, hey, you've got a demon that goes against the rules. You're on trial for death. You know, we're going to kill you. And it's literally just like a competition of like who can be the biggest dick. Like the first introduction of the Hashira is just like, oh, that one's a prick, that one's a prick, that one's a prick, that one's a prick, that one thinks everything's cute, and that one's confused.
Yes. yes. That's exactly how it goes.
It really is. So like after all this arguing, finally like the leader of the Demon Slayer Corps shows up. You've kind of seen him before. He's blind. It almost looks like he's got like acid burns on his face.
Yeah, I think that's actually what it is.
And he shows up and it's just like, he's like, oh yeah, guys. Here's the letter I got, and
I knew the whole time.
It's just like, why the fuck didn't you tell them sooner? Why did you wait to send a crow? It's like one of my biggest annoyances with this show is just like, why are you so stupid?
I mean, this guy clearly knows what he's doing. He's super smart.
Yeah, no, he and like all of the Hashira bow for him. They all kneel. He gets mad respect, and he's just like, I'm just not gonna. We'll see what happens. I guess.
I just want to watch. I want to see what happens.
But in the meantime, I don't know the name of the scarred guy.
Sanemi
shows up with the backpack. I love calling it a backpack.
It's a backpack. It's a wooden box at this point. It's a really tough wooden box, but backpack.
The Nezuko backpack. And he's just stabbing it. And he's just like, why would you have a demon? I'm a dick. Stab. And Tanjiro's like, no, fuck this. He's tied up and he just runs at the dude.
Jumps over the guy's sword swing. He's in the air. Comes down, crown of the head.
Biggest headbutt of the season. It's fucking tough.
Just straight up crushes the wind Hashira.
It just knocks him out cold. It's baller. It's so tough. And then like big bad wind Hashira, he stands up and he's like, all right, well, I'm going to kill you. It's like, man, this motherfucker's hands are tied. Like big bad Hashira. Dick. I've grown to like the ones I've seen in season 2. I haven't seen season 3 yet. Mm-hmm. But like, they're all such dicks. It pisses me. Like, it's just a scene made to make you mad.
Yeah, you're supposed to hate
like,
them.
even Rengoku is just, like, uncool. He's the flame Hashira, not to be confused with fire breathing.
Yeah.
Flame breathing is a different thing altogether.
They're very specific about this.
So, yeah, after that, the dude's like, I don't even... Did they give the master's name?
The master's name, they do not in this scene.
Okay, so the master, as they call him, tells everybody what's going on. They're just like, nah, I don't believe it. Not happening. And he's like, this demon's good. They're like, nah, it's not.
Yeah, the only two that aren't against us are Mitsuri, who thinks everything's cute, and Muichiro, who realizes...
Doesn't know what's going on.
No, he literally says, I'll forget, so I'm fine with it.
And so, like, the note said that this is okay. Like, I think this is okay because Urokodaki and Tomioka, if she ever hurts someone, as well as Tanjiro, will all commit seppuku.
Yeah, they're just going to gut themselves with their swords.
And everybody's like, no, you can't take back if people die, blah, blah, blah. And then our Wind Hashira is just like, fine, I'll prove it. Cuts his arm, throws Nezuko in a dark place, and he's just like, here, try.
Stabs the box a few more times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that way she needs to heal.
Yep. Then he opens the box and he's just like, here, you know you want to.
And Tanjiro's like, Nezuko! And was that a pretty good one?
Yeah.
And so she turns her head away in disgust. And everybody's like, oh, that's good enough for me.
And everyone sees it happen, but the master goes like, what happened? I don't know what happened because he's blind.
Oh, yeah. And so they're like, all right, that's okay. And then Shinobu just completely backtracks. She's like, go live in my mansion. We'll take care of you. And then Tanjiro runs back.
Tanjiro runs back around the corner. He's like, no, I am not done with this a-hole. I have to headbutt him 3 times for each time he stabbed Nezuko.
Respectfully, master. He's like, respectfully, master, let me headbutt him.
I need to headbutt him 3 times.
I get 3. And then they just like drag him away. And so we have another training arc. Everybody's healing. Inosuke just can't. He's like giving up on life.
He's a
so
prime candidate for Zoloft.
Oh, 100%. Zenitsu has baby hands, and I don't like it. I still don't like it. And he's like, again, he's just being a caricature. I can't take my medicine. My medicine's scary. It's disgusting. I'm over it.
Apparently, you'd rather have baby hands.
Apparently, baby hands versus medicine. So they learn a new training from Shinobu, and apparently she's as hard as everybody else is.
Yes, she is delicate as a flower, but will murder you.
So their trainings are like they have to play tag or touch cups and throw them on somebody else, but the person they're competing with is
Kanao. Well, there's a series of them. There's like 2 lower ones, and then there's Kanao, who's like the ultimate test.
And so they're practicing working on their speed and stuff as they heal, because they're all fucked up.
Yeah.
It's real bad. I mean, I feel like these guys break ribs for a living.
Yeah. I don't think they have actually. They've broken more ribs than they have.
They actually 100% have. That makes them stronger, right?
I mean, I think they grow back stronger, whatever doesn't kill you.
Right? So with this training, they decide, Shinobu, I think it's the 3, there's 3 little girls that are part of the training, and they teach Tanjiro about total concentration constant.
Yes, which is where you're doing that, the breathing that Tanjiro does while he's sword fighting, he has to maintain throughout every day.
And every time he uses it as is, it's just like, it hurts him a lot, you know, because he's just pushing his body's limits when you do that.
And now he's being told he has to do it all the time, every second of his day, even when he sleeps.
Yep. And so we've got training montage, and it's just Tanjiro doing it because the other 2 are little bitches. And you're like, I don't want it anymore. You know, this kid's like, I don't believe in it. I feel defeated because we can't beat this little butterfly girl. And they see him training, so they start training. It's a fun little training montage. I like it because it's just like, it's boys being boys. Yeah. I like boys being boys. It's just like, at one point, Zenitsu's like lifting, and it's just Tanjiro and Inosuke are just sitting there like, yeah.
It's very, very gremlin energy.
I love gremlin energy. Boys will be boys is like my favorite thing. So they all end up kind of having a chance to win at tag, win at throwing water once they've kind of gotten used to it. There's a fun little bit where Tanjiro's trying to do it while he's sleeping, and little girls just hit him when he doesn't.
Yeah, but let's not forget my favorite moment of the training montage is when Tanjiro finally beats Kanao at the cup game. And he's supposed to throw water in her face. It's medicinal tea. But he can't do it, so he just sets the cup on her head.
It's kind of like a head pat, but he's just like, nah, I'm too nice for this. And so that's pretty much the season. At the very end, we get a teaser for the next season.
Yeah, because Tanjiro's asking Shinobu about, hey, do you know about fire breathing? She goes, no, I know about flame breathing. And
Talk to him.
And that points him to Rengoku, who's off on a mission.
And it turns out she talked to somebody about sending Tanjiro with Rengoku. And so we find out they're going to see Rengoku, and that's pretty much our next season. It's also a movie. Like, it's so annoying that they did this. That, like, so there's a movie Mugen Train, and then the first half of the second season is just Mugen Train.
Right, like I appreciate that they made the movie canon, which they don't usually do for movies like this, but I don't think we needed the season for those that didn't see the movie.
Yeah, right? Well, exactly. It's just, you can just kind of follow what you need to do. But, I mean, Mugen Train's great, so, we'll be getting into that the next time when we do season 2, because there ain't no brakes on the Mugen Train.
Ain't no brakes on the Mugen Train. We are out of control and powering down the mountain.
So, there's a bunch of reasons in here why Demon Slayer ain't mid. So I feel like one of the biggest, the biggest arguments I see is that it's carried by its animation. It's just like, oh my god,
really? The animated show is carried by its animation?
You mean a shonen battle anime is carried by its battles?
You mean this high-profile product that they dumped lots of money in and spent lots of time on is carried by the thing they paid the animators to do?
and like really, it does. That's true. It helps carry it. Aside of Zenitsu, the characters are fun. The characters are cool. You don't see the most growth in the world, but not everything has to be deep.
Also, this season is not about growth. It's
about introductions.
Yes.
And so, I mean, to argue that it's carried by that, it just seems silly, because that's why you watch a battle shonen.
It's literally judging a book by its cover.
No, it's not even that. It is just judging a genre that you probably shouldn't be watching.
Yeah, like if you hate animation.
If you hate shonen battles, don't watch shonen battles. Like if Berserk's your thing, great.
Absolutely.
I support that 100%. But shonen battles are sweet. Animation is sweet. Fights are sweet. That's the point. And Tanjiro is best boy.
Best boy.
Best boy.
The purest-hearted boy I've ever seen in an anime.
So yeah, is Demon Slayer mid? Abso-fucking-lutely not. That is absurd.
It's mid if you're a terrible judge of character.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. And again, like, don't get me wrong, commercial success does not equal good, but it is the most commercially successful anime that has ever happened, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah, the manga outsold the entirety of the American comic industry one year.
Did it really? I had no idea. It's so popular that kids aren't like at school. They're not, at least in Japan. They're not saying their dad's their hero. They're saying Tanjiro is. They want to be like Tanjiro when they grow up. And I'm sorry to their parents, but they're right. Tanjiro is better than your dad.
Yeah, Tanjiro's definitely better than my dad.
Well, Shawn's dad wasn't around the whole time, and he likes to make jokes about it.
World champion hide and seek player.
We all cope in our own way. The show is not mid at all. It's great. It's stellar. Is it the greatest one I've ever seen? No. But is it just fucking solid? Is it a good time for everybody? Yes. That being said, as an introductory anime, 100%. That is a great show. It doesn't have any of the cringy anime bullshit you deal with, except for Zenitsu. But most people can look past him. There's not a lot of things in the series that are just like, that would just immediately turn someone away.
Maybe the gore. There's a little bit of gore.
That's fair. Yeah, don't show it to your kids. Your young kids.
Yeah.
My 4-year-old won't see it. I promise you that. I'm a little bit better of a dad than that. But
better than my dad.
That never gets old to me. I'm sorry, everyone. It's just because I'm used to him joking about it. But yeah, no, I definitely recommend using it to get people into it. It's just a great transitional piece. And so really, as far as we like to do a shame scale. Should you be ashamed of watching this show? So we're not talking about how good it is. We're talking about, just really how ashamed you should be to watch it. If someone catches you,
are you going to be embarrassed? Are you going to run and hide?
Yeah. So our scale today is 1 being a Zenitsu and a 10 being Tanjiro. And I'm going to give this one a solid 9. There's nothing to be ashamed of watching this unless someone just walks in and sees Zenitsu and they're
or maybe the Spider-Woman cleavage.
Yeah, but even then it's just really whatever. But yeah, that was there. I forgot. But it's not like one of those things where it's just like people roll in on you accidentally watching a harem anime.
Right.
I'm not judging you, but that's just like that's like the worst, you know. People always walk in at like that exact
Sex
point,
scene.
and it's just like, how do I explain this?
Without-
you just don't.
No,
It's
you
just
don't.
silent. They close the door slowly, and that's it.
Yep, really, friendship ends there.
So thanks a lot for listening today, guys.
Absolutely.
It's been fun, Sean. It's been fun.
It's been a riot of a time.
Oh, yes. So catch us next time. Our next episode is going to be Wotakoi. So every other episode, we're going to be doing manga. So it's going to be our look at Wotakoi. Love is Hard for an Otaku.
Yep.
It's a great little romance anime. It's a big change up from what we're doing today.
Absolutely. Not too much of a time investment.
If you're not really into manga, the episode after that, we're going to be doing FLCL. It's classic. So I guess at this point, it's time for us to hide away all our figurines. We'll go with that.
Stop building your one-of-one scale Gundams.
Turn over those body pillows and
Hide your snow globes depicting various battle shonen scenes.
until next time, guys, we'll be Lowkey Weebs.